Good evening, everyone. I'm Father Miguel. I am the pastor of St. Divine Mercy Parish in Sauk City, Wisconsin, and I am streaming live from St. Aloysius Church, one of the churches in my parish. I would like to begin by apologizing for any technical problem that I may have or may be having right now. This is my first time streaming live and this parish news episode. So I hope that everything works the way it's supposed to. But if it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, I will just have to learn from my mistakes. I would also like to announce that you can use the chat system either in YouTube or on Facebook. And if you want to just leave a comment while I am streaming, or if you want to ask a question, I will be able to see those questions live. So feel free to leave a comment or ask a question, and I would be happy to answer them. I would like to begin by just commenting on the situation in our country and really in the whole world with this pandemic that we are going through. It is a difficult time for all of us, and I know that most of you have either watched President Trump's press conference last night or have read about it or heard about it. He announced that according to the models that the scientists and doctors are using, the month of April is going to be a difficult month for our country. And so we have to get ready for the worst, but we have to do so with peace and serenity. We shouldn't give in to fear. Like I always say, we shouldn't give in to panic. We have to do and follow the recommendations of our civil and ecclesial authorities. And we have to try our best, each one of us, to flatten the curve and to make sure that our hospitals are not overwhelmed by the number of people that they need to treat. So I would just like to repeat a few things that President Trump mentioned yesterday, and we all know what they are, and it's common sense, but it's good for all of us to repeat and to review. And what are those things? Well, the first thing is to wash your hands frequently, and I think that all of us are doing that more than ever. The second thing is maintaining social distancing, and I think that everyone is doing that also. I went on for a walk, I think it was yesterday, and as I was crossing people going the other way, we were all trying to keep 6 feet from each other. So I think that everyone understood that it was the safe and healthy thing to do. And then another very important thing, stay home. If you don't need to go outside, do not go outside. Try to keep the number of times that you go to the Piggly Wiggly to perhaps one a week or twice a week. But the less you go, the safer you will be, and the safer those who live with you will be. And then stay informed. But it's important that you stay informed. Go to the official websites, and there's a lot of fake news out there, and there are things that are not true, myths that you read in the internet. So don't believe everything you read in the internet. So go to the official websites where they will inform you of the things that you need to do and the things you need to avoid. And then finally, and this is the most important thing, pray. Pray and offer sacrifices. We have to pray for our country. We have to pray for the world. We have to pray for the church. This is a difficult time, but we're going to get through this together if we turn to God and if we pray. And so that you can see that we're still here and that we haven't forgotten about you, my parishioners. I want to interview today Laura Brynick, and I'm sure you all know who Laura Brynick is. She's one of our parishioners, and she's done so much for the parish, and she still does a lot for the parish. And one of the things that she came up with, an idea that she came up with, is to call our parishioners, and to especially the elderly and the homebound and the sick, and those who are at in nursing homes to check on them to see how they're doing. And so she looked for other people, other parishioners to do that, to help her with that. And she's done an amazing job. So I would like to interview her today. And she's going to talk about what she has been doing with other people and about her experiences. So oh, there she is. Okay. Hi, Laura. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Hi.
Okay. I hear you. I barely hear you. So I don't know. Let's see if I can. Um, can you say something again? So,
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear
okay.
me?
Let's see. No, the volume seems to be gone down. So, okay. All right. Well, I would like to. Why don't you begin just by sharing some of your experiences? What have you been doing in this past week or 2 weeks?
Well, like you said, a group of volunteers at the parish, um, started making phone calls. At first, we were going to try to call the most vulnerable, and then we thought, you know, it would be nice to just reach out to everyone and just connect with them because you know it's a void we all feel, not seeing faces at mass, not being able to go to mass, not seeing people around town. So yes, we wanted to make sure that our most vulnerable parishioners were okay, but also just wanted to reach out to our parish family and so that they feel connected. And so a group of volunteers started making phone calls, and I believe we are finished with the calls now, at least the first round of them. And the response was just overwhelming, truly. Um, we're hearing from people. My very first phone call was somebody who told me that they missed you. It was an elderly parishioner, and she misses the home visits very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe she was 96,
Wow.
still living at home, but having people check on her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another nice thing too. Our older parishioners, it does seem like they all have a very nice family support in town.
Mm-hmm.
So people are checking on them frequently and making sure that they're well attended to.
Mm-hmm.
But even though they have people checking on them, they were very appreciative of the phone calls. Um, I had an amazing experience yesterday. I was finishing the last of my calls, and I called and left a message for someone, and he called me back, and we ended up having a 36-minute conversation, and it was wonderful. This is a person that has some health issues,
Mm-hmm.
and although he has support here, he doesn't have someone immediately into town, and so it was nice for him to be able to connect, and it was such a blessing for me to be able to be on the other end of the call, and I really felt the hand of God in that whole conversation, where when we set out to do something nice, but God in His wonderful way has given us all so much blessings from making these calls and making these connections. Um, and yeah, I've talked to young families who have children in school, and the struggles that they're all facing with having to take the role of a teacher in some cases. I've heard overwhelming feedback from families that send their children to St. Al's, how wonderful your online stuff is going. So that was very nice to hear. And just basic conversations with people, even those that were short, the conversations that were short, and the fact that, yeah, we are kind of a family, right? And it's nice to hear from someone.
Yes. Sometimes we're at home, we're by ourselves, and we forget that there are people that are experiencing this in different ways, and especially the homebound and the elderly. I I used to, I mean, until this pandemic started, I went to see some of the homebound every Friday, and also a longer list on the first Fridays, and many of them live by themselves, and even though they have family, but sometimes the family cannot go and see them every day, and so they're lonely. And since this started, I mean, I'm one of the things that I am assuming many of them are concerned, and many of them are afraid. How are they going to get their groceries? How are they going to find out what's going on? Or so just giving them a call and saying, hey, we're here for you. If you need anything, just call me back. That is something that I know that they deeply appreciate. So thank you
Mhm.
very much for all you're doing, and not just for the homebound and the elderly, but also for all our parishioners. I mean, the fact that all of you, this team of people that are doing these phone calls, you're taking the time to just check on each of them. That is something that I know that they appreciate a lot. I'm also
Mhm.
receiving a lot of emails since I'm not able to see most of you, and I apologize if I do not reply on like right away or the same day, but I'm trying to reply to all of them. So thank you very much. I know that many of you have expressed your gratitude for the 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 live stream masses and the emails that I send, and anything that all the videos that I'm also putting in YouTube and Facebook. So thank you for your words. It's good to know that what we are doing, you and I and everyone else, that people are really appreciating the work that we are all doing. So thank you very much, Laura.
And I Yeah, and I've heard that too, Father, from the calls that, people said, well, we could watch Mass anywhere, but it's so nice for us to be able to watch Father celebrate Mass. It helps us feel connected. And even though we can't be there in person, that's just one more thing that you're doing to help us all stay connected and feeling a part of everything. So thank you, Father.
Well, thank you, Laura. I'm going to continue with the program, and one of the things that I want to show our audience is how some of the families from our parish are living through this lockdown or shutdown. So it's interesting because, like I said, every home is different, and some of the, especially the younger families, they struggle with having the kids, like you said, all the time there. But I think that they're doing a very good job, all of these moms and dads, and it's something that to feel proud of, that we have such good Catholics, good, yeah, mom and dads that are doing their best to entertain their kids and to teach their kids. So thank you, Laura. All right.
Thank
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is attending mass at home. I know that it can be a challenge. I share with you on one of my emails that one of our parishioners, when they were getting ready to watch the first mass, they all sat in front of the TV. But another family just shared recently, a few days ago, their own experience. And it was very, very interesting. It was, as you can see there, right here, there's a TV, and there's Mass. And the little one, he's not quite behaving. So, one of the things that might help is trying to get them ready for church, like if you were going to church. Perhaps attending or watching Mass in your PJs is not the best thing, especially because the kids do not see the difference between being at home and being and just playing around and attending Mass. Remember that you don't have to watch Mass. Bishop Pine, and he lifted that requirement for all the Catholics in the Diocese of Madison. It's a pious act, but it's a beautiful act. The fact that most of you are watching Mass, and or even several masses on Sunday, just to practice your faith and to also remain connected with your parish. So I appreciate the effort, and but like I said, it really helps teaching your children that to get into that mindset, and the mindset that it's Sunday, it's a day of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so it's good to try to settle them down and find some peace and quiet. Another thing that I would like to share is how our little ones are practicing their faith and how they're living their Lent, even though they cannot come to church to do the Stations of the Cross like we used to do every Friday. But the little ones are finding very interesting ways of leading their own Stations of the Cross.
Station 1. The conscious Pilate tells Jesus that he's going to die. Station 2. The Romans give Jesus a big heavy cross.
Well, that was cute. No, Kate, that was embarrassing. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to embarrass you. It was actually a very comical thing. And, but I'm sure that a lot of families in the parish are experiencing the same thing. So don't feel embarrassed. It's okay. We really appreciate the work you're doing in teaching your children the faith at home. Another thing that I would like to comment is also on the use of form.org. Form.org is a great resource for all Catholics in our parish to use at home. And in fact, one of the things that if you haven't logged in recently, if you log in, you'll see that they actually dedicated a whole section of their website to faith, at how to practice faith at home. As you can see here, if you go down to the second line here, or the second set of tiles, and if you scroll, see, you'll find a lot of resources, movies you can watch, documentaries you can watch, books you can download on your Kindle or smartphone to read, audio talks. There's a lot of things here that you will be able to use at home. You can also find daily mass, and I think that they also publish a daily reflection. So you'll find plenty of resources here to use while you're there at home and you're not able to come to church to practice the faith. There are many other things here that you can explore. You can, for example, look into programs. One of the things here that you will find is Bible studies. And there are 2 Bible studies that we are currently teaching, Father James and I. I'm teaching the one on salvation on Thursdays, and Father James is teaching this one on the Bible and the Virgin Mary every Wednesday at 9. So if you want to participate, it's very easy. The only thing you need to do is watch the emails that I send and click on the link, and you'll be able to connect to these Bible studies. You'll be able to join with me and other people and participate in the discussion that we're having through Google Meet, which is like a virtual classroom or a virtual room where we are able to discuss the session of the day. So it's something that I recommend that you do, and you can do it at home. If you're not able to participate on Wednesdays at 9 or Thursdays at 6:30, you can always watch the session on your own, and other resources that, like I said, they're going to help you live in this Lent and Holy Week. And that's about it. I hope that you've liked the first episode of Parish News. And if you have any comments, any suggestions of what we could do in these episodes, let me know. You can either leave a comment or send me an email. Goodbye and God bless.